What is up, CSGs? The Rockets just beat the Dallas Mavericks in a game that, once again, I feel like this is a pattern for the Rockets. A game that shouldn't have been close, but we got it done. We got it done regardless. We had a huge, I think, as big as 21 points in the fourth quarter, but ended up winning by 6 points, 108-106. A game that Jalen Green just shows that continuation of his growth and maturity as a player this year. This is by far his best start to an NBA season in his career. And this is significant because usually JG starts off slow, picks up in the second half of the season. So if this is what we're getting now, what are we going to see in the second half of the season? It has just been a journey with this kid from his rookie year up until now. We had the flashes of the ups and the low lows, the high highs, but all really you want to see from him is just a consistency, and he is doing that for this 5-game stretch, which your Rockets have, I think, we're top 10 in defense and offense. I peeked at the cleaning the glass stats on our starting five, as the same as last year. We are one of the top five this year. Last year we were top 10 best starting fives in the NBA. I think we're like third right now. I don't know what this game is going to do for us because cleaning the glass, their data populates tomorrow. So I'm going to do a separate video at some point this week or maybe early next week looking at some lineup data and who's the best lineups, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, JG, remember the phrase that I said all last year where Jalen Green leap away from becoming a contender. The Rockets still have a way to go. There's still some guys that are struggling on the team right now. I think Alp is still finding his rhythm. Fred is still finding his rhythm. Dylan is playing well. I slander him from time to time, but the job he did on Luka Doncic today was amazing. Amen Thompson as well. They took turns on him. Pause. You also had your boy Amen and Tari guarding Kyrie. So having that wing versatility. Jabari struggled a bit today. You know, I mean, him and Fred really had bad games. And we still won. I mean, that's the thing with this team. And that's the thing with basketball. I made a tweet because for all the guys struggling, and Fred needs to be better. Şengün offensively needs to be more aggressive, needs to be better, needs to trust his process, needs to gain his confidence. But I think they did a great job defensively. But guys just have to play their games, right? You can't get caught up on stats and percentages this early in the season. You just got to play your game. But the way JG is playing right now, dude had 12 rebounds, bro. Let me see. He had 20. I think he had 23 and 12. The game literally just finished. Jalen Green had, let's see. He had 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. The 4 assists got to be a season high. You know what I mean? Just a great game. Great game, a plus 12. Highest plus minus, tied with Tari on the team. A great game from him. Came down to hit the late shots. And that's what you need. I've been saying this for the past 2 years. At the end of the day, you need a guy that can close out. At the end of the day, no matter what, you need a ball handler, the guy that can dribble the ball, that can make shots late in games. And if you have a closer on your team, you got a chance to do some things in the playoffs. A lot of these games up in previous years really came down to us having a lead, choking it away. Then when it came close to the end of the game where we need to trade baskets with the opposing team's closers, we didn't have nobody to do it. It's really hard to close out games with a big man. As good as Alperen Şengün is, he's going to get you there in a lot of nights during the season. And to me, he had a really good game today despite his shooting woes. You need a ball handler, bro. At the end of the day, Jamal Murray is the reason the Nuggets are going to really ultimately win that ring. And when he's off, no matter how great Jokic is, no matter how many rebounds and assists and points Jokic scores, if that partner in that two-man dance is off, you're not going to win as many games. It's a two-man dance. The Rockets are still figuring out that dance. I'm going to tell y'all, be patient, bro. I see what they're doing. Like, there's still huge issues with the offense. It's too isolation-based. It's too reliant on heroics of players who, personally, I think haven't reached that level yet, like the Kyrie and Luka. Even though we beat them today, we have a similar style of offense as the Mavericks, per se, which is we rely on the ball handler. Our ball handlers don't equate to theirs. They are a way higher version than us, but you hope over the years we progress towards that. With all the flaws and all, what the Rockets do have, they're a scrappy team, and like I said in the last video, they're getting it out the mud, and that's the only way we're going to stay afloat till everybody catches up. That's what you got to do. Can you win when your team isn't hitting on all cylinders? That's the sign of a pretty good team. I know it looks nasty right now, but I think as the games go on, like I told you, give them to mid-November, guys. Give them guys are still coming. They'll get into their groove. Jabari's gonna find a groove. Alp's gonna find a groove. Jalen is gonna find his niche. You're gonna see Fred start getting into his role. I think Fred's role needs to be diminished slightly, a little bit off ball, because there was a stretch in the game where he got a little bit too excited trying to take over the game when he was not feeling it. He tried to take over the game when he was already 2 for 10, because I just peeked at the box score. But I mean, just the overall defensive performance by the Rockets was incredibly impressive. This type of team is literally the hardest team for us to guard, because we don't have just a rim protecting big. So teams that run hella pick and rolls, and literally Luka's probably the best pick and roll ball handler in the NBA. And for us to hold them to 102 points, one of the best offenses in the league, is amazing. The job that Alp did in the pick and roll this game, to me, was amazing. He gave up 2 lobs. He got yammed on by what's his face on the Mavs. That dunk was nasty. But the way they played the pick and roll against the best pick and roll duos in the NBA with Derek Lively and Luka and what's his name, Gafford, amazing. The way we guarded on the perimeter, really amazing. Amen Thompson, Dylan, Tari, Jabari struggled a bit. They were trying to hunt him out a little bit. Jalen did his thing on defense. Fred did good on defense, struggled a bit on offense. And I think that the team just overall played a scrappy game on the road. Remember, we're the team that there was a stretch we lost, I don't know how many games straight on the road. I'm going to challenge I'm going to coach y'all through a lot of this stuff, because I did the same thing with Jalen Green. Told you, ignore him. He's being rebuilt. He's being broken down to pieces. He's going to take the longest because the offense revolved around him. Now it's changing over to Şengün, and he has to find how to be a good player outside of being the primary ball handler. And the same thing is happening with other players right now. As JG emerges as that lead ball handler that we've been looking for, things are going to take time, because there's different chemistry on this team. There's different fits. There's different matchups. There's different relationships. There's different responsibilities. All of these things take time to manifest. And when those pieces come together and everybody understands what their collective roles are and individual responsibilities, you're going to see what this team really looks like. So the game-to-game swings and emotions and all that, just leave that alone, bro. This will take time. This will really, really take time for everything to kind of go through and manifest what the Rockets are truly going to be. But, I mean, this was a great game. I think it's a good character win. This is a good grit win. Going to an opponent that's been whipping your ass for the past Lord knows how many years, and get a dub on the road on Halloween to quiet their crowd. You couldn't really ask for more. I loved every minute of it, even the fact that it was close. I actually preferred that a little bit. Hopefully they don't do too much of that. I'm going to go through the box scores and look at the players real quick. Like I said, Dillon Brooks, 17 big points on the night. I mean, he did a great job playing defense. You know what I mean? These are the games that you just appreciate having him on the roster. He was 2 for 9 from 3, 22%, not great. You also have 40% from the field, which is good. Hit some big buckets. 3 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a +7. I think Dillon had a great game. Couldn't have won this game without him. Jabari Smith Jr., let's see what he had. 50% from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. He got to hit those open threes. The offense, the pick and roll generated a lot of wide open threes from him. Teams are starting to sag off of Jabari and clog the paint. That we can't afford that with Şengün out there, bro. Like, we can't afford that. Like, he has to be a shooter that is serviceable, at least like 39, 40%. And on open corner threes, he got to be 45, mid-40s on that. So he has to be better at shooting, because that's the function he provides to the team. But I loved how he battled today. 6 rebounds. Would love for him to rebound more. A -6. He did hurt us in stretches on the team because they were hunting him. Kyrie was attacking him a bit on the perimeter. The shot making wasn't there. But, you know what I mean? Like I said, I think Jabari, he'll work himself out. At some point, if he keeps struggling along the way, you may see his minutes reduce, and then you start seeing players possibly substitute for him. Out of all the starters, Jabari's the only one that played under 30 minutes because of that. Alperen Şengün, 34 minutes, 5 of 16, 31% from the field. Cheeks on offense. His offensive struggles continue. He went 0 for 1 from 3. 9 free throw attempts, which is incredibly important. Within the game, he got the Mavericks centers at least close to halftime or right around halftime or right after halftime. Both Lively and Gafford already had 8 fouls between them, which is hella impressive. And once his offense clicks, that becomes really impossible, because when you got JG going, you got Alp fouling out the other center. It opens up the lane because teams have to go small because now they're scared to put that center out there. It's a 1-2 combo that I'm not going to give up on that, because ultimately I don't think the Rockets are going to be as good as they are if Jalen is the only player that's really good on the team. And I don't think they're going to be as good as they are if Alp is the only player. If you have a guard, you need a big man. If you have a big man, you need a guard. They just have to figure it out together. I still think, just on the side, they haven't played with each other yet. Pause. They're still playing next to each other. Part of that reason is the Fred VanVleet aspect of it. I think we're too reliant on Fred, and Fred is not delivering like he was last year. They're still playing next to each other. And there's 2 reasons for that, in my opinion. There's one is the structure of the team. I said this in the last video, no hierarchy. So it's just random. There's no like rhythm to, okay, now let's get to our bread and butter. You heard Ryan Hollins talking about this in the game, like go to something. And I hate that we have 5 different things we can go to. That is not a good thing in basketball, where you have 5 different options. You don't know which one to go to. That means that you're not prepared on what you're going to do when things get tough, right? You're supposed to have 1 or 2 things to go to, and then out of that 1 or 2 things, everything else kind of falls out of that. That's how basketball is not like other sports, where like football, you have a go-to play. Well, defense can scheme around a go-to play. Basketball is a reactive sport. You have a go-to action, then out of that action, the whole world of possibilities comes out of. We need that initial action. Is it the JG Alp pick and roll? Is it a wedge roll Alp that turns into off-ball actions to kick out to 3-point shooters? Like, what is it going to be? Is it going to be, getting a DHO with Jalen Green so he can attack whoever the other big man, whoever's guarding Şengün, whoever's guarding the screener? Whatever that is, like, we have to have something, and it can't just stop with that initial action ending with a shot. And if it doesn't end with a shot, we lost. It has to be the initial action getting an advantage. Once the advantage is created, then we can punish the team off of that. If they want to help off of that advantage, kick it out to that person that they're helping off of. And then from there, you get into driving kicks, et cetera, et cetera. That's what elite teams do. That's what they have to figure out. To me, that's number one reason why they're not. The other second reason is their IQs they're not matching right now. Şengün gets tunnel vision sometimes when he drives. He gets tunnel vision, and Jalen Green gets tunnel vision sometimes when he drives. So they have to learn to like see the court together, and they have to see the court. They have to see the same thing, and that only comes with reps, multiple reps. I don't care about Fred VanVleet's upside because he's damn near 30. The Ime needs to like put the ball in Jalen's hands and let him and Şengün figure out that 2-man game in the midst of the fire, in the midst of the bullets flying around them, like in this Dallas game. I hated that Fred VanVleet almost choked the game away because of that. But, that upside is still there. And I think once they figure that out, teams are going to be in trouble. But, Alp, once again, keeping up with his impressive rebounding, 12 rebounds, averaging 12 rebounds on the year. If he sustains averaging a double-double rebounds, that's a leap for me. That's a big leap. One of the things I wanted him to do this season, a plus 10. 17 points, 3 fouls, 4 assists, 12 rebounds. Pedestrian offensive game, really good defensive game, in my opinion. Got lazy a little bit towards the end when he got fatigued, but I like what I'm seeing from him. And to me, this was an atmosphere. This is as close to the playoffs as you're going to get, especially against a team that loves to isolate and hunt mismatches. He held his own. And then I love what Ime did when defense, go small. This is the importance of having roster versatility. You can't get caught up on who's playing, who's not, bro. Just win the damn game. That's at the end of the day. That's why you have an Amen Thompson on the bench, so you can go small. That's why you have a Tari Eason, so you can replace other players that play better defense. There's no pride or ego in that, bro. Guys are just trying to win games. That's why the Warriors had the death lineup. That's why Jokic got subbed out in the Clippers series a couple years ago when they had to get defensive stops. This stuff happens. That's why what's his name? What's the big man name from Minnesota? What's his name? The big French dude. That's why he got subbed out in the Western Conference Finals, because he was getting cooked in the pick and roll. Rudy Gobert. This stuff happens, right? That's why you have a roster. But they did it. I mean, they came out, the defense in the last few minutes, they were switching, getting everything. Guys were making stops. The man was, poking the ball away. It was just overall a great game. Jalen Green, 36 minutes. Okay, Fred played 39. I was about to say team high. 42 from the field, 9 of 21 shots, 3 of 8 from three. So the threes weren't really there tonight for him to take, but which I think he could have taken more because to me, he just didn't get the ball enough. But 9 of 21, 21 shots. He shot 66 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 23 points, a plus 12 team high. Just all around great game. Closer for the team. Just a rebound in the defense. Just a solid all around game for Jalen. Really showing like Ime is doing a hell of a job with him. I'm not going to lie. Fred VanVleet, 39 minutes, just 2 of 13, 15, like just a bad game. 0 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, team low minus 12. Like, come on, bro. Amen Thompson did good. He was a plus 7, Tari Easton a plus 12, Steven Adams a minus 4, Reed Shepherd a plus 5, Cam Whitmore a minus 1. Steven Adams gave us good minutes. Still, his lateral mobility is questionable. I don't trust him as far as a long-term fix for our center because he's not as good defensively as Şengün is. I still think we need that. We need that rangy. We need another type of big, bro. We have 3 of the same archetypes, in my opinion. They just do things a little bit differently. I still think we need somebody that has a little more athleticism to give us a different look. Like if you're trying to make the playoffs, having the ability to match up with teams in multiple ways is very important. But Steve did his thing, gave us some good minutes on screening out there, just clogging the paint, being a big body. He did his job. I wonder what's up with Jock. I really didn't hear anything about him. I probably still heard Reed got a couple minutes in. Y'all notice Reed has not really been getting a lot of burn, bro. I remember I said this in the preseason or before the season started that the only reason like people were saying he's going to be Steph Curry. He could be Steph Curry, but my whole point with Reed was that I don't think he's going to get the chance because his limitations defensively are going to limit him. But even surprisingly, his defense hasn't even been that bad. His issues have been just everything else. I think right now he's still trying to figure out his way. I think it'll probably do him good to go down to the G League a little bit, kind of like how Amen and Cam did, to get some confidence and then come back towards January. And then I think just like all rookies, his close to All-Star, post-All-Star break performances, they're going to be night and day for Reed. But, I'm keeping an eye on him. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's getting a very regular rookie development, and he's going to be the better off for it because the game is going to slow down as he's watching all of this stuff unfold, watching film, getting practice behind the scenes, getting spot minutes in the game. Hit a nice little pull-up today, so keep an eye on him. Cam Whitmore, even when he scores, I'm very process-oriented, guys. I'm not one to berate a player over shooting bad. If you're getting the shots that you're supposed to take and you're taking those shots, like if you take the shots you're supposed to take within the flow of the offense and the context of the game, if you have a bad shooting night, it's the NBA, especially in the regular season, 1 of 82 games, guys are going to shoot bad. Guys are going to shoot bad on stretches. If you're taking a shot, if you're taking shots out of character or you're not taking your shots, then you're hurting the team. Right? Then you're hurting the team. And then to me, that's where Reed is not taking all the shots he needs to. And Cam Whitmore he's taking too many shots. Like, he cannot be a boss. I don't give a damn how many athletic layups he makes. I love him being aggressive, but like, you just know when the ball gets to him and they're swinging, he's going to have to like dribble. It gets a little old sometimes. And to me, he's doing himself a disservice. Like, somebody has to tell him, bro, like, you have to understand what your role is within the team. Even if your role is to score, you have to be able to read the game better. I know I'm being harsh on him, but I'm telling y'all, bro, the NBA, the coaches, this how they look at stuff. It's not, they don't care about box score or if a guy goes, 3 for 3 from 3, whatever it is. It's about process. Are you making the right passes? Are you making the right plays? Are you reading the game correctly? Are you playing within the context of the team? Are you halting the flow of the game? So all of those things, he needs to be better at that. But, he gave some good minutes. He hit some big layups. But overall, just a great win. I don't think we beat Dallas at Dallas since James Harden. I'm not going to lie. I can't remember us beating Dallas at Dallas since Harden times. And even back then, those were tough wins to come across. So, this is good for us. I mean, I'm trying to see. So the Rockets, we out-rebounded them by, I think, damn near like almost 15 or 16. Another trend that we need to keep going. Keep that going forward. Just an all-around good game from Houston. I'm really proud of the guys. They just got to keep this up. They got to keep this up. And I'm telling you, they haven't hit their stride yet. They're still figuring out things. Guys are still playing with last year's rules while new developments are happening. The way I see the hierarchy, it's going to be Jalen and Şengün as like the top two when it comes to offensive load. And it's always going to be preference towards the guard. The guard is the one that determines if the big man gets the shot, right? That's what's going to happen. That's how it always happens. So the team's limitations is always going to be as high as your best ball handler. That is going to be it. The big man, especially if you're going to have an offensive hub as a big man, that's your floor. So that's going to give you a structure of an offense that you're able to function in throughout. But at the peaks of the peaks, close games, playoffs, if you don't have a guy that can dribble, that can get to the rim, that can pass, you're not going to win anything. And so Jalen has a lot on his shoulders. So far, he's been cooking and doing what he's supposed to do. He's playing with a certain maturity about him, a certain consistency that some would almost say that he's having a year 4 leap. He might be having a year 4 leap, but just a great game, great all around game. I'm just proud of the guys. I think this was a very important win for the confidence of the team, given that we lost in San Antonio, all of that stuff going on. I mean, the San Antonio, we should have blown them out both games. But as guys go on, y'all remember we started 0-3 last year. Then we started getting like 4 wins in a row. Then we beat the Kings like 3 in a row. We beat Denver all those times. Then the guys started getting calm. This is one of those type of wins. So I expect this to keep us going forward. We held the Mavs at home to 102 points. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Smoke that. But yeah, I'm just playing. But if you like this game, let me know in the comments, what was your favorite part of the game? What was your favorite part of the game? What action? Was it a play? Was it a player? My favorite part of the game was a takeover by Jalen Green down the stretch. Just stone cold, just showing maturity, showing poise, and ignoring the fact that Fred almost choked the game away. That was my favorite part. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that.
DJ Candlestick. It's the Chop Not Flop Show.